I will praise the I am with my whole heart in the assembly of the upright, in the congregation. The works of the I am are great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein. His work is honorable and glorious, and his righteousness endureth forever. He hath made his wonderful works to be remembered. The I am is gracious and full of compassion. He hath given meat unto them that fear him. He will ever be mindful of his covenant. He hath showed his people the power of his works, that he may give them the heritage of the heathen. The works of his hands are verity and judgment. All his commandments are sure. They stand fast forever and ever, and all are done in truth and uprightness. He sent redemption unto his people, and he hath commanded his covenant forever. Holy and reverend is his name. The fear of the I am is the beginning of wisdom, and a good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever. All praises. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. And before that, we read from Psalms chapter 111. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, we thank God for you and you. You're walking with Mr. Clay. I'm Mr. Clay. Yes. And we also thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning. Those of you who have been with us here's and there's about, and those of you who are just subscribing, or those of you who are about to subscribe, we thank God for you. Even those of you that are viewing incognito. Yes, trying to get some type of knowledge. But we thank God for you too, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, we're in the book of Chronicles, and we're going to go with to chapter 10. Chapter 10 of Chronicles. Now, we're going back to the First Kings. This is where we're going. We're going back to the First King as you prepare. Chronicles, chapter 10. We're going back to the First Kings, which is King Saul. But the fact is that he was a king that really, he wasn't like David. David had sins of the flesh. Saul, he went before God. Like many do today, they try to second guess God. You think you're better than God. You think you're better than the I am. Tata and Zami, Sinini Nainini. You think you have more knowledge. He's antiquated. He's outdated. His words are no good. It's amazing how that even Chikambusu woke up one day and he decided he wanted to build an invention that uses radio waves, converts radio waves to power. God is outdated though. But you have these big old countries and you have all this technology, and most of your technology is nothing but bombs to kill people. That's all it is. Pollute the air, trying to get many of you countries, your countries are just that which would try to pollute the water, trying to sell a product that kill people rather than help them. And many don't know the difference. Yes, we're talking about environmental suicide is what we've been committing. With inventions. What are your AIs going to do? What are your robots going to do? What are they there to kill other robots to make you think that you're the best one? No, they're there to kill people. Either they're going to help them or they're going to kill people. Which one are they going to do? Some of you are so lazy, you invented a program for those just like you. Lazy. Get out there and do that work. You want slaves, you want to pay people less than what they are worth, and what the job is worth, and then raise your prices to make them pay even more? Please. You don't sound like nothing. Well, we're in 1 Chronicles chapter 10. We're going to begin with this man Saul. That's why people had servants. Lazy. They had servants, and well, the Most High had figured out a way that, and he didn't figure it out, he designated a way where you could have servants for those who were foolish enough to get into debt and can't pay it back. And those who would commit crimes that they would have to pay. Somebody would buy your debt, and therefore you would serve them. Is the whole bottom line of the whole thing of the slavery or the servitude back in Israel in that time. It was a way of paying back debt. I would buy your debt from a person whom I've sold you to. He gives me the money, and you have to be his servant until either the year of Jubilee or until the 7th year. The year of Jubilee is a long time. You're talking about 49 years. Now, after 6 years, you can go. But for the woman, she would be more like his wife or concubine or whatever you want to call it. She would be more like that. But if she didn't please him, he has to sell her to another nation, as we say it in the law. This is the law. Now, is God's laws unjust, or are your ways unjust? You commit fornication and adultery. These people didn't do that. They did it the right way. He knew people are going to be evil, so he did what is fair. Now in verse 1, the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard after Saul and after his sons, and the Philistines slew Jonathan and Aminadab and Malchishua, the sons of Saul. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was wounded of the archers. Then said Saul to his armor-bearer, draw thy sword and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and abuse me. But his armor-bearer would not, for he was so afraid. So Saul took his sword and fell upon it. In other words, he second-guessed God again. After all that, first he went to the witch of Endor, whom his son kicked out of the land. He went and found her and tried to get Samuel. Then he took hold of the ephod, the Urim and the Thummim, trying to seek God instead of having the Levite priests do it. It's their job. They attend unto the Most High from earth. Now, when his armor-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise on the sword and died. Yes, that. Now, God gives the king an aura about him that would cause some to even, my life is your life. The same thing with a lot of good leaders. They have those that are around them that says, my life is your life. My life before your life. Why? Because of the way God had put that leadership upon them. Yes. Oh, it was appointed by people. I mean, they're leaders. Some of them can be just as, whatever you want to call it. But either way. Verse 6, and Saul died, and his 3 sons, and all his house died together, as according to the word of the Most High. And when all the men of Israel that were in the valley saw that they fled, and Saul and his sons were dead, then they forsook their cities and fled. They fled. That was pretty bad. Because why? Their leader was dead. This was the one that gave them hope. This was the one that they had lived for. This was their idol. That's what it was, their idol. Just like your Isus is your idol, your Yahushua, your Yahusha. It's your idol. But the heathen made it to the point where now your idol lives forever. Now you can worship him. He's equal to God. You worship him. You use him as a middleman to God. And God, even in the Old Testament, God changed. For some of you call yourself Hebrew Israelites, God changed. Now you can go through the middleman. Yes, you can go through the middleman. Oh, yeah. God, you're still a Christian, regardless of what you say. Just trying to use Hebrew Israelite, trying to use the Old Testament, you're trying to fake it, saying that the Old Testament is this and the Old Testament is that, but yet you're faking it. God never changes. His word stands sure, period. There is no middleman. There's no middle wall. Only middle wall of petition is your sin that you're committing, still committing. And that's idolatry. By not paying attention to his commandments, statutes, ordinances, and laws. This is what you're not doing. And when his armor bearer saw, I'm not saying that by any measure that I am perfect, but I'm complete in what? The law. For it is the way, the truth, and the life. And you can keep the law. You probably can't sacrifice or anything like that, but you can keep the law. In some instances, some of you can, but it's not really all about that. The sacrifices of God are really just showing appreciation and thankfulness that he has forgiven you your sin, that he has accepted your prayer. Because it could be a long time from then. A long time. You have to understand and know the sacrifice is a thanksgiving by either way. It's not. It doesn't wipe away your sins. What wipes away your sin is a heart that turns away from it, and you're proving that through with man by not doing it anymore. Whatever you've done, except for murder. And murder, rape, whatever, and all this other stuff. So here we go. Murder, I don't mean just fondling someone. I'm talking about the fact that you have sexually assaulted someone. That's unforgivable. That's like murder. And there are other examples of that. When we get to that point, we will show you. So Saul died, and he says now in verse 9, and they had stripped him, and they took his head. They cut off Saul's head. This was the wrath of the Most High upon Saul. He had allowed the hatred to be so that he took his head and his armor and sent into the land of the Philistines round about to carry tidings unto their idols and to the people. He allowed these demons to do this. Oh, but think about it. They were Canaanites. Shh. Philistines was old. They were Hamites. Yes, they were. And they put his armor in the house of their gods and fastened his head in the temple of Dagon, a demon. And when all Jabesh Gilead heard that all the Philistines had done to Saul, they rose up, all the valiant men, strong men. They were mad. They were angry. You took our king like this. This was their motivation. This was their idol. This is whom they put their minds to God. When God gives you a king, he gives you an idol. Yes, we need leaders. Yes, we do. We need those who will be an example unto righteousness and everything. That's given. But when it comes to the point where you give your life for them, when you have caused yourself to put them and you worship them and all these other things, God has given you an idol, just like he's given you of the heathen nations. Think about it. They said, we want a king like the other nations. That's what they said in the first book of Samuel. Or should I say 2 Samuel? We want a king like the other nations. So that's what God did. They want an idol. They want a man. They want something. So why did your Isis and all this other stuff be brought up? Because the religious factors understood by reading of these scriptures. They understood the secret that man wanted something tangible to touch. From Eve all the way to Israel wanting, and then the heathen nations having a king. So They had to come up with something. For it was during the time, according to Daniel Bourne's thing, it was a time where the Roman Empire and the Grecian Empire was trying to find a way to get the people united, to control them and keep them within that framework of their ideologies. So even today it's the same thing. Yes, it's the same thing. Now, it says now, and they put his arm in the house of their God. Now in verse 11, and when all the Jabesh Gilead heard that the Philistines had gone to Saul, they arose, and all valiant men took away the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons, and brought them to Jabesh, and buried their bones under the oak in Jabesh, and fasted 7 days. So they just broke through and took his head, took his body, and all that stuff. So Saul died for his transgression. This is why God allowed his head to be taken off. This is why. He's telling you why. He said, which he committed against the I am, even against the word of the I am, which he kept not. And for asking counsel of one that had a familiar spirit to inquire of it. He tried to second guess God. He wanted to go above God. Or I got special, a way to God. No, you're just an idol for the people because that's what they wanted. And inquired not of the I am. Therefore he slew him and turned the kingdom unto David, the son of Jesse. This is the Chronicles of King Saul. Yes, in a nutshell, is what they're telling you. And with that, we're gonna, if we keep his commandments, statutes, his instructions, commandments, statutes, and ordinances and laws, those that we can keep in these, while we're still prisoners of war, while we're still captive in this earth, because God can allow you to be free, easy. It's not a problem, but your sins is what binds you with the heathen. This is why their hearts are set toward against you, because you don't want to know. Many of you, the demons have come and they have taken your mind, they've swayed your heart. They've caused you to see elsewhere and else how, and this and that, and oh, this is not right with God, that's not right with God, and God is not this and God is not that. Yes, they're laughing at you. Yeah, look at this foolish human. Yes, foolish human. Yes, they're looking at you as a foolish human because you cannot discern between good and evil toward you. Either you're going to accept what God says and live, or reject it, and you will be with your idols. Those you Egyptologists and all these other things, you're going to be with those whom you want to be. I've experienced these entities you call demons and these gods. I've experienced them all. They're nothing but fallen spirits. They know what it is to be in the heavens. God has allowed them to be this way, to fool the simple-minded. And you call yourself educated and all this stuff, but yet you're simple-minded. Because number one, the fear of the I am makes wise the simple, or either the law of the I am makes wise the simple. So you're simple. And you need some wisdom. So you need to start obeying the law of the I am, so that you may be truly wise. Yes, you will be truly wise. I'm not talking about all these other religious things, the Quran and all these other devilish doctrines they have put, calling angels that are supposed to be this and that. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances. All these things are derived from that. Even if you go to the pagan religions, their wisdoms, it's still, you can find them in the law. And if we keep his commandments, statutes, and ordinances and do that right, we will have peace.
Walk with me.